Welcome back everyone, it's Eric from Rare Candy. Here today we are back on the channel with another testing rounds video, taking a look at some more kind of early unrefined deck ideas that we have here from Unbroken Bonds, the most recent set that is coming up on the horizon. So here on this video we have myself, I'm going to be on the left, I'm going to be playing the new Reshiram Charizard GX, very hype new card that we're getting out of this set. And then over on the right we have Haley Brokaw, who is a local player from my area. She was nice enough to help me record this video, and she's going to be playing the new Alolan Muk tag team that we have here. So two tag team decks facing off against each other. You know, Reshiram Charizard definitely has a substantial amount of hype just due to all of the insane fire support we're getting in this set. But Alolan Muk is also pretty interesting itself, so we'll have to see which one is going to, you know, emerge victorious here. So here it does look like I'm getting to go first. I actually have a pretty stacked hand from the looks of it. So here I have a Nest Ball. Typically this would be kind of a play on my first turn where I'd want to go for a Salandit to start setting up the new Salazzle. But here we have a Kiawe and a Welder in hand, so we can actually just kind of go all in on these Charizards. So Kiawe, I only have one in this entire list, so very fortunate enough to start it. And here you can see I'm kind of like torn. I decided initially to start attaching to the bench and Kiawe onto the active, but I'm kind of going to reverse this here, you know, just in case Haley does have like a Tapu Lele DCE like switch type of combo here. It's really not that hard of a combo to pull off. And even though Charizard Reshiram has this outrage attack that can punish, you know, people from putting on early damage onto it, I still wanted to try to protect it the best I could. So here I'm going to Kiawe to that benched one, and then on my next turn I can just Welder to the active to attack with that one if I really want to. So after that, just gonna see a pass over to Haley. I'm starting to really threaten a lot of pressure here on her next turn. And here you can see she did actually have the Tapu Lele DCE combo at her disposal this turn as well. But anyway, so here she is going to just get rid of that Lele though. Probably gonna see her grab an Alolan Muk tag team here. Just because she really doesn't need a ton of Inkays in play for this deck. That is actually one of the nice things about Muk Alolan Muk GX. It can kind of function just off DCEs and just like an extra Malamar attachment here and there. So that's what I'm guessing she's going to go for. Here you can see she's tempted to grab the Marshadow there. However, I definitely don't think that is going to be her best play here. She really definitely needs to start setting up an attacker to deal with this these Charizards that are going to start putting on some serious pressure within the next turn or so. Here you can see she's a little bit torn as to what she wants to grab, but like I said, I kind of want to see the Muk Alolan Muk tag team come down here, especially since she has the double colorless energy already in hand there to start powering it up. And here you can see she does ultimately decide on it. Definitely think that is the correct play here. And then we're just going to see a Cynthia. So not too bad of a start so far. Of course, she is going to want to start getting some psychic energies in her discard pile at some point to get out with her Malamars. But other than that, she's really not doing too bad. She has this Jirachi as well, so after she refreshes her hand, she can even look at some more cards here and maybe find something else to, you know, keep her turn going along into the next turn. So if you guys aren't too familiar with this Muk though, it's a pretty interesting tag team we have here. The first attack is Psychic DCE. It poisons your opponent, but they take 8 in between turns, so a pretty powerful little form of residual damage there. Second attack, I believe, is Psychic DCE. Or I'm sorry, Psychic Triple Colorless 120, and then you heal 100 if your opponent's active is poison. Next GX attack is 0 energy, but if you have 4 energy attached, they are poison paralyzed and take 15 damage between turns from poison. So you can see the whole strategy here. You have a bunch of like powerful residual damage with these attacks, and you can tank with the second attack. So like I said, some pretty interesting things happening here. And Haley is going to find herself another Inkay. So that's definitely not too bad. Unfortunately, she didn't have an Ultra Ball or anything like that to toss some psychic energies, but nevertheless, she does still, you know, she has some options going into her next turn here. And she still has the Stellar Wish as well, so she could even find a Treasure or Ultra Ball here too. And it looks like she kind of whiffed there, but she does find herself a Switch in this instance. So that could be useful. So just trying to think here, what does she do? So from Haley's perspective, she's probably looking at my board, and the fact that I attached to this bench Charizard kind of means I'm probably threatening like a Guzma knockout. So she might be thinking, do I retreat this Jirachi? Or if, you know, if Eric's going to take a knockout on a bench Pokemon, I can pretty much just safely leave it in the active. Because she has a skateboard, she could get that down and retreat this Jirachi into something else and let maybe one of these Inkays take a hit. So that's probably where her mind is at. She's basically probably just trying to decide, does Eric have the Guzma play at his disposal? And if he does, do I think he's going to bring up this Jirachi if he does have the Guzma? So we'll have to see what happens here. I think if she leaves it, it's fine too. You know, forcing Charizard to take a knockout on this thing with one of its other attacks is going to be kind of a pain. Because right now I do need to find 3 more energy to take a knockout on this active. So I think even if she leaves the active, it's okay. But at the same time, I kind of want to see... Yeah, it's a tough spot, because if she does retreat with the escape board, I can just Guzma it up, since she's probably planning on me having that. But here she is just going to pass back over to me, and here I'm going to play that Welder card. Very powerful new supporter we're getting in this Unbroken Bonds set. You attach 2 fire energies from hand and draw 3 cards. So here you can see I got 2 energies down Charizard, and I have an additional 1 from hand as well. So this is definitely a pretty powerful turn here. Like I said, Haley probably thought I had the Guzma, and I actually did. But here we're just going to take a knockout on this Jirachi. You know, I could Guzma up this Muk, but I actually can't even knock it out in 1 hit. So not sure if that would have even been the best plan of attack. But here we are going to knock out the Jirachi. It's definitely a Pokemon I want to, you know, get rid of out of play. And here, let's see what Haley's going to do. So she does have a Pal Pad in hand. She has Lily as well. So we probably are going to see a Pal Pad just to burn that card, and then a Lily to refresh her hand size a little bit. Now she has an energy, so she can get that down on Muk as well. So she's really not in a terrible spot. She just needs to kind of find a way to discard some energy. That's going to be the big thing she's really going to be looking for here. That way she can use this GX attack on Muk and strand this Charizard. Because if she's actually able to strand this Charizard active, I mean, she doesn't know I have a Guzma and Switch in hand, but, you know, her plan is she can use the GX attack. It's going to paralyze Charizard. It takes 15 in between turns, so she is going to be able to knock this thing out going back into her turn if I'm unable to find a switching card. That's definitely the play she wants to kind of go after here. And let's see, she does not find anything. She doesn't even have a supporter for the following turn, it appears, either, so that is very unfortunate. So let's see, I mean, she has Poison Barb in her hand, so that could be good. You know, if Charizard does attack into this Muk, it will take poison damage, allowing Muk to use its second attack potentially. Also has the new Stadium card in her hand. I believe it's Dust Island. I forget the exact wording, but it's something along the lines of, if a player plays a trainer card to, you know, switch out of the active, the new Pokemon that they switch into is poisoned and retains any effects. Well, I shouldn't say they are now poisoned. If the Pokemon that switched was poisoned, the new active is poison and carries any modifiers from poison on there as well. So what that means is if she uses this attack, the first attack on Muk, to put 8 damage counters on this Charizard, if I use Switch, the new Charizard is poisoned and takes those 8 damage counters in between turns instead. Here, this is actually one thing I don't like though. Haley did choose to evolve into this Malamar. I kind of wanted to see her leave that for the moment, just because the escape board will provide it with free retreat. She doesn't have any energies in the discard pile just yet, so I think I would have preferred to see that stay in her hand. Not sure how much it's going to impact the game just yet. We'll have to see. Unfortunately, Haley did whiff away, like I kind of mentioned, to put energy in her discard pile, so she's just gonna have to use the first attack on Muk. It's going to do 8 damage counters in between turns from poison. So if I don't retreat or switch this Charizard, it's gonna be this thing's gonna be in bad shape. So here I'm just trying to think, what do I do? Right now I am threatening the GX attack on Charizard. It's 3 fire energy to do 200, but if I have 3 additional fire energy, it does 100 more and goes through any effects. So here I'm going to choose to Welder the bench Pokemon. Let's see, and we do hit a heat factor, so that's actually a really busted draw off of this, because now I can actually play this Switch that's in my hand without poisoning my new active with the 8 damage counters. So here I'm going to use Fiery Flint just to thin some cards out of deck. So here I am going to, looks like, get rid of a Pokegear as well. And here I can use this to burn with Heat Factory, draw myself some more cards here. So having a pretty good game for this Charizard deck. You know, I haven't even gotten the Salazzle set up. That's actually normally how this whole Charizard deck really takes off, is once you get these Salazzles in play. They have this ability. It's basically just Heat Factory on stage 1. And without them, the deck kind of actually is a little bit sluggish. But here you can see I'm doing just fine without it this game. And here I'm going to Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Salazzle GX and another Welder, it appears. And just going to get a Sciarratta in play, maybe finally start to set up a Salazzle in the next turn or so. I believe I have some Fire Energies prized as well, so I will be able to probably hit some to be able to make use of the ability on Salazzle at some point too. Here I'm just going to switch, and we're going to use the GX Tackle on Charizard, taking 3 prizes off of this Muk Alolan Muk. And here I do still become poisoned due to the Poison Barb that was on the Muk. But here Haley shows me her hand. She doesn't have anything to respond with on this next turn. No draw supporters, no attackers. So we're just going to scoop this one up and go to a game 2. So Charizard took a pretty commanding win this game. And, you know, Haley's deck really wasn't doing that terribly the first couple turns. She was kind of setting up. The big thing there, of course, she missed the additional, she missed the Psychic Recharge on her second turn, and she didn't have a draw support to follow up her last turn, but she started out okay. And since she did lose game 1 here, she will have the option to go first in this second game, which I'm sure she's going to take. So maybe she can get set up, you know, just a little bit sooner than this Charizard deck in this next game. I actually had a pretty good game there, didn't even need to set up a Salazzle to get set up, which is usually a little bit rare. Normally you are very reliant on these Salazzles to get going. But here I do start Charizard, have a half decent hand. I believe I have a Heat Factory if I saw correctly. So I can draw a little bit of energy, or I'm sorry, draw a few cards with this energy that's in my hand. Have a Nest Ball as well, so we'll have to see what's going to happen. So let's see, Haley does have a Giratina in her hand, I believe. Looks like a Tapu Lele, a Marshadow. So not too many things going on here. She is going to get down a Psychic Energy at the very least, definitely like that. Just going to get down a Poison Barb, definitely good to get down too, so not too bad there. So here, if I remember correctly, I think she ends up like kind of taking back like her order of operations in this turn. I remember she was kind of conflicted about what to do with her first turn here. She can, you know, play down her hand and try to Lily for 4, I believe it was. So she can Lele, go for a Lily, and then do that. But we were talking about it. I really don't like that play though. Benching this Giratina unnecessarily is going to be, you know, not too fun. Just Lilying for 4 doesn't feel that great, especially when her hand beyond that is not very good at all. I kind of just want to see her keep the Giratina and Cynthia for 6. If I remember, I do believe that is what she ultimately settles on here. But I remember she was kind of conflicted about what route she wants to go. She does have a Marshadow in her hand as well. So I remember she was kind of thinking she could just let loose, do the old let loose and pray, and hope she gets like a Lily or something off of that. But no matter what, I definitely don't want to see this Giratina come down. That's the big thing I definitely severely disagree with. So we're going to have to see what route she's going to go here. So she does still have that Lele in hand. You can see that's kind of where she's leaning over the Marshadow, but okay, so she is going to do that. So let's see where else she's going to go. And yeah, initially she does start to eye down this Lily here. And I think this is where we started talking about it. Like, wait, I don't know if this is actually such a good line of play because we were talking like, yeah, she would have Marshadow to bail herself out if she does have a dead hand. But then after that, she would have 3 bench sitters already on her bench and no Jirachis or Inkays yet either. So I think this is definitely just the better line of play here. Just playing down the Lele, going for the Cynthia, and just keeping the rest of her hand intact. So yeah, we're just going to see the Cynthia here. I think that's definitely the right play. You know, you'd like to Lily, you know, do the first turn Lily every game, but if it's not better than a Cynthia, there's no point in playing it. You know, playing it just to be able to do it, you know, isn't always the best. So here we're just going to see that Cynthia. No doubt she's going to want to find herself an Inkay or 2, maybe a Jirachi. I think that would be one of the other cards she would be looking to find here potentially. So let's see what she's going to get off of these 6 cards. And okay, yeah, she actually does have a Jirachi. She has a Treasure. No Inkays, no energy to discard with that Mysterious Treasure, so we'll have to see what she's going to do. She actually might end up using Marshadow this turn as well. So we are going to see a Mysterious Treasure. Does she have a draw supporter in hand? I actually don't think she does. So if I'm in Haley's spot, I think I actually might go for the Let Loose here. She needs to kind of refresh her hand and maybe also find an Inkay in the process as well. So here she's passing all these Inkays. She knows what she's looking for here. And there she goes. So she is going to play the Marshadow. It has that Let Loose ability. Whenever you bench it from hand, both players shuffle their hands into their deck and draw a new hand of 4. So especially very good on the first turn against your opponent when they haven't even gotten to play any cards yet. You know, my hand was workable, but it wasn't great, so I actually don't like completely mind this. You know, as long as I don't just draw in a bunch of fire energy, we're good. And yeah, this hand is actually pretty terrible. We have a Salazzle GX, a Guzma, and a fire energy, so yeah, this feels completely terrible. But you never know, if I top deck like a Kiawe or, I don't know, a Welder, anything to get going, that would definitely be appreciated here. So let's see, Haley is going to use that Stellar Wish on the Jirachi. She managed to find herself the switch off of the Let Loose as well, which is great. So let's see what she is going to grab out of these 5 cards that she's looking at here. So I see the Stadium, Dust Island, see an Ultra Ball, also see a Cynthia, okay. So if she doesn't have a supporter in hand, I definitely like seeing the Cynthia here, that definitely makes sense. And here, I don't know if she's conflicted, maybe wants to get something else, but here it looks like she's going to shuffle up and is going to commit to the Cynthia in this case. So, I mean, she doesn't find herself an Inkay, which is a little bit unfortunate, but she is going first, so that she already has that advantage there. You know, she let loose on turn 1 as well, so that feels pretty good. I think she's probably going to be okay. So here it looks like she's thinking about just passing. And here I'm just going to attach the Charizard and probably just Guzma, to be honest, just to try to maybe buy a turn where I don't get attacked. She already has played an Escape Board and a Switch. So I think I might be able to, you know, prevent this Muk from attacking me this turn. So here she is going to draw for a turn. I think I see a Jirachi in hand. I think I see a Malamar, a couple draw supporters. Probably just going to have to see a Cynthia here. So yeah, she is going to play the Cynthia. So no doubt she is going to be looking for an Inkay this turn. That's going to be the big thing I think she's going to be on the hunt for right here. So an Inkay, a way to maybe dump some Psychic Energies in the discard pile. Even if she just has to like hard retreat with the Psychic Energy back into Jirachi for turn, I don't even hate that play either. I'll have to see what she can find here though. So we do see an Inkay, and she does have a Switch. And I see an Ultra Ball as well. Dang, okay. So let's see what route she is going to go. She could just burn the Psychic Energy as a means of, you know, getting in the discard pile and getting back into Jirachi. She could switch. Okay, it looks like that's what she's going to do. She's just going to burn the energy, guarantee it being in the discard pile. She knows she's not going to attack with Muk this turn anyway, since she didn't have DCE. So here she's just going to Stellar Wish. And we actually see a Treasure and an Energy Lotto in hand. I like both those cards there from her. She already does have an Ultra Ball, so she might not want the Treasure. I kind of want to see the Energy Lotto here just because she can potentially find a double colorless energy with it to get down on her Muk the next turn. So she's checking her discard, probably seeing how many Psychic Energies are in there. So here she is, looks like she's leaning towards the Energy Lotto. I definitely like that play. The Treasure isn't terrible as well, just because the Ultra Ball will force her to discard an extra card from her hand. But I definitely like the idea of finding a double colorless energy a little bit quicker here. And if I'm her, I actually think she holds on to it this turn, just because she can't attach it anyways, and she doesn't need a Malamar this turn anyway. So if she just holds off, she'll basically get to dig one card deeper with it onto her next turn. So from there, she's just going to pass. Okay. So I'll take it. I mean, I do find myself a Fiery Flint here. It's not great, but it will at least thin 4 cards out of my deck, maybe getting me closer to finding a draw supporter. So here I'm just taking a peek through my deck as well, just seeing what we have in there. But I am going to get these 4 fire energies out of the deck. We're going to get 1 down on Charizard, and probably just Outrage for 60 here. So Outrage is 30 plus 10 for every damage counter on Charizard. So unfortunately, I'm just 10 short of taking a knockout on poor little Jirachi here. But yeah, we're just going to see a pass back over to Haley after that. So she's definitely going to be in a good spot, especially if she can find herself double Colorless Energy. So she has the Energy Lotto, she has the Ultra Ball. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing her play the Ultra Ball first to maybe thin Malamar out of her deck. Okay, and that is what she is going to do, it appears. Going to get rid of a Lily and a Guzma. And she still has a Lily in hand as well for turn. So I definitely like this from her. Hanging on to that switch card in hand, just in case I try to Guzma stall anything else. So here she does find herself her first Malamar, so she can definitely Psychic Recharge, and then, so she might even want to hang on to the Energy Lotto as well, because that's really the thing she wants this turn no matter what. She wants double Colorless Energy, so I think she goes for Lily, and then Stellar Wish, then Energy Lotto as her last card per turn, just in case she doesn't hit the DC off of this Lily here. So we're going to see a Lily for forward to see what she can find. See an Inkay, I believe that is. Psychic Energy. She does find the DCE, so she doesn't even need the Energy Lotto for it. So this game is definitely going much better for Haley this time. She's going to be able to get off this GX attack. Here you can see she's going to Psychic Recharge on a Muk here. She has that double Colorless Energy in hand. And she actually has the Stadium to go along with it, which is definitely pretty good as well. So one thing I do want to see, okay, she is going to Stellar Wish. I actually think in this case I would have preferred to see an Energy Lotto first, because she already found the DCE she needs, and she just wants a supporter for next turn. So I think she might have maybe messed up a little bit of her sequencing here. But basically you want to play the Energy Lotto first, thin an energy out of your deck to increase your odds of hitting a draw supporter for your next turn. But nevertheless, she's still in a good spot. I'm definitely having a really rocky start after that let loose. So even if she has to take a turn or so to find a draw supporter, she's going to be okay. She has a switch, so she can actually technically switch back into Jirachi next turn as well. And here she is going to get down that Stadium. This is definitely a pretty oppressive turn she has here at this point. So no doubt we're going to see that GX attack on Alolan Muk. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to poison and paralyze this tag team I have and put 15 on it in between turns. Okay, now I do find a Pokegear, but I think we might just be a few turns too late. Yeah, so I can Welder, but the issue is I have to put this energy on Charizard, which is really the issue. Because I can put the energy here and it gets knocked out, and then whatever I promote, and I do have an Ultra Ball, whatever I promote here just gets knocked out by Muk next turn as well. So it's a big feels bad overall. So here you can see I have an Ultra Ball. Like I can I can get another tag team, but an issue is, oh, and here I just look at my hand like, yeah, there's no way I'm coming back from this one. So we're just going to scoop it up. Because basically, like I said, if I would have gotten out of Charizard, I would be knocked out going back into Haley's turn. Then she can actually just attack back into my next Charizard before I even get to attach anything to it. So I think from there, she was just way too far ahead. And we're going to shuffle up and go on to a Game 3. So, you know, that's what Marshadow is supposed to do. The old let loose and pray and hope your opponent doesn't have anything, and hey, that time it definitely paid off for Haley there. So here I do start with a Welder in hand. That's definitely one of the best cards you could see on turn 1. Looks like Haley, she has a couple different basics in her hand. I didn't see what she started with, but let's take a look and see how this Game 3 is going to go. I do start with Reshiram Charizard. That's definitely great. I'm going to play Welder. Of course, attach 2 fire energies to this Charizard, draw 3 cards, and then I have another fire energy in hand to attach for turn as well. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire a Flint as well. Thin 4 more cards out of my deck. I have that Pokegear in hand to find a supporter for next turn, so I want to thin some of these energies out of my deck before I play that. And actually, just in general too, I think I'm probably going to hang on to the Pokegear as well for next turn, because I don't need to play another supporter right now. If I hang on to it, I can dig 1 card deeper on this next turn. But here, like I said, thinning some fire energies out of my deck here. If I find another welder, definitely will be able to, get this Charizard ready to, swing with that GX attack as well too. So here, I'm just going to attach for turn, probably just see a pass on over to Haley here. And so she is going to have an Inkay start. It is not a Jirachi, so I'm sure she would have preferred that, but still not a bad starter. She can just, hard retreat and retreat it out of the active if she wants to. But here she's playing a treasure. She is going to discard a Giratina, and then she's also going to discard an Eevee Snorlax and a Psychic Energy. So those are actually two really good discards. Eevee Snorlax not too great in this particular matchup. It's definitely going to be more for like your Zoroark matchups that you run into with this deck. But here she's also going to get down a Mr. Mime card that she had in hand. So it's been a card we haven't really seen too much of so far in this matchup, but definitely pretty good. It basically prevents your opponent from playing Acerollas. And Acerola is definitely good at eliminating those status conditions, especially because they are rarely ever going to knock out a Pokemon in one hit. So definitely going to be good. She knows I play a single copy of Acerola in this list, so she's going to get that down to maybe try to prevent against that at some point. But she did play a Treasure and an Ultra Ball, so she is going to get a Tapu Lele, and I imagine probably a Muk if I had to guess. Because I think the Mr. Mime was in hand. I don't believe she searched her deck for that. So that's really what I want to see here. Or even it could be another Inkay, because I am threatening a knockout on this current Inkay. So I think even doing that isn't too terrible. So yeah, she is going to do that. I think that's fine. I think I think Muk Alolan Muk tag team or the Inkay would have been good. But I think Inkay is probably the better one in this specific instance. And here she's going to shuffle up. She has that first turn Lily this game. I think she only has like 1 or 2 cards in hand. So this is definitely going to be a pretty strong first turn Lily in this instance. Because of course you draw until you have 6, but if it is your first turn, you draw until you get to have 8, which is pretty nice. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, pretty strong Lily here. Let's see what she can find. Hopefully a Muk and an attachment are going to be the other thing she really wants. Okay, she does have Jirachi. That's definitely going to be good. Ooh, she has Switch as well. I like that. So she's going to want to switch and try to find herself some sort of search card to get down a Muk here. But at the same time, she doesn't even have any energy, which is pretty rough. Okay, so she does have an Ultra Ball. Now the big issue, of course, though, is that she doesn't have an attachment for turn. So let's see. Looks like she's eyeing down the Ultra Ball here. She had the new Koga supporter in her options there too. That's another card we haven't seen too much of in this matchup so far out of these series, or out of these games in this series, but she might have that as an option for at some point to get some, automatic poison on my Charizards. But here she is going to go for the Ultra Ball. So let's see, we might see her just hang on to it if she doesn't have an energy to attach. And here she's actually going to go for the Poison Barb. This is kind of a cute play from Haley here. And here I immediately throw down Salandit, but then I realize, wait, I need to play Pokegear, because if I hit Guzma, I would rather play that. And the last card is a Guzma, so that's exactly why I didn't want to bench that Salandit, because now I can Guzma up this Lele and take a knockout on that, instead of having to attack into this Jirachi. So I can Guzma, then put down the Salandit, that way I don't have to, burn the switch that is in my hand. So I'm going to Guzma that thing up. I can attach for turn, and I can just use Flare Strike, the primary attack here on Charizard, to do 230 to knock this thing out, taking 2 prizes. Because honestly, even though I am going to jump ahead, I'm really not in that great of a spot. Like, my hand is pretty terrible. And here you can see it's literally just a bunch of energy and ways to get energy. So, if Haley is able to mount kind of a counterattack here and put on some pressure, I honestly don't really have a great response to anything like that. So we'll have to see what she's going to be able to make happen here. If she can find a way to get an Alolan Muk set up, that would definitely be good. Missing that turn 1 attachment was pretty big. Ooh, she does have energy allowed. That's pretty big, because if she's able to... Okay, so she's going to Ultra Ball, get rid of an Inkay and a Lily. I like that here. So here she's going to get rid of the Cynthia. And I actually really do like this play that we're going to see here from her, because I think she's going to be able to Lily for 6, and she's going to play Palpad this turn as well. So it'd be better to... Yeah, it'd be better to, in this case, shuffle Cynthia's back into her deck at this point as opposed to Lily's. So definitely like this on Haley's part. Kind of a subtle play, but these things definitely, you know, sometimes matter here. You know, being able to just draw a fresh hand of 6 in the late game is sometimes better than not being able to draw, you know, when you have like an already kind of clunky filled hand and you have a Lily. So just a subtle play I want to point out that is pretty good here from Haley. Here she is going to go for a Muk Alolan Muk tag team. So she's going to be able to start getting this thing powered up. So here we're going to see, is she going to play the Energy Lot? I think that's what she's going to go for first here before playing the Palpad, if I had to guess. Just because when she shuffles in those supporters, that is going to decrease her odds of hitting an Energy. So I like this. She's getting her sequencing right this game. I know she kind of ran into that on one play in the last game, if I remember right. So. But unfortunately, she does whiff the Energy Lotto, even though she did, I think, the right thing here. But here she's going to go for a Palpad, getting back a Cynthia and a Lily. Going to shuffle those back in, and then just Lily for a fresh hand of 6 here. So even if she doesn't wind up attacking with Muk this turn, I really don't even mind that. Just kind of walling behind this Jirachi with the Poison Barb is pretty good here. If she can get some early poison damage in with this thing, that wouldn't be too bad. And there still is a world, I guess, technically, where she could pull off the GX attack on Muk this turn. Because if she finds herself another Malamar, a way to get Psychic in the discard, a DCE, and a switch, she can pull it off. So we'll have to see what she's going to get off these 6 cards. So we do see, I think, some Psychic energies. I don't see any Ultra Balls or anything like that, however. So she still hasn't used Stellar Wish though, so she could do that and try to find herself an Ultra Ball or a Treasure or something like that too. So we are going to see that from her. We see a Guzma, we see an Escape Board. Okay, it looks like that's what she is going to be considering in this case. She does have a Switch, so there might be an argument to not even getting the Escape Board, but if she does get the Escape Board, that will allow this Mr. Mime to be her free retreater after this Jirachi gets knocked out. So I think that is an option she could go for here. Also, she has the Stadium card. Looks like that's what she might be eyeing down. I can see she's a little bit conflicted, but she does go for the Escape Board. I think either of these is fine. Being able to give this Mr. Mime free retreat is going to be important. Anyone who's played Malamar before knows the importance of having a free retreater that you can promote in between knockouts. That way you can Psychic Recharge onto your attacker and then retreat into it for turn. That's one of the main ways Malamar kind of functions. So I definitely like this from her as well. So we are going to see an attachment for turn, just going to get a Psychic Energy down and see a Psychic Recharge out of her discard pile too. So here, not sure what she's thinking about, maybe contemplating, does she want to switch and kind of save this Jirachi? But honestly, I think she can afford to let it go down. You know, even though I'm going to get a prize off of it, taking poison damage in return is definitely not too shabby either. So here, she is going to Psychic Recharge. And now she's just going to be a double Colorless Energy away from attacking with this Muk Alolan Muk tag team on the next turn. And I think, you know, I think this is fine if she does want to just kind of leave it at that. Honestly, I mean, she has Giratina in there. I think I actually would have preferred to see her kind of start powering up the Giratina that's in her discard pile, because I'm going to knock out this Jirachi, going down to 3 prizes, and then from there all I have to do is knock out one Muk tag team to win. So, you know, maybe going the Giratina route would have been a little bit better here. But I don't know, she still has access to it anytime, so, you know, maybe once this Muk takes a hit, she can just retreat into the Giratina and go aggro Giratina. Another card we haven't seen so far in this matchup too is that Haley does have an Acerola in that deck, so she could potentially find a way to save this Muk at some point if it does take a hit from this Charizard. But here I'm going for a nest ball here. Looks like I'm favoring getting down another Charizard in this instance, potentially. You know, I have all of this energy in hand, and I know this Charizard is going to start taking some damage on this next turn, so I kind of want to start, you know, getting the next one ready whenever I can finally find myself like another Welder or a Salazzle. Just in general, we haven't really seen Salazzle come down in this series, which is odd because this deck actually plays a very thick line of Salazzle. But once we find that, you know, we can kind of take off from there, and it's really not uncommon with this deck to get very loaded decking out within the first like 3 turns even. So having a bit of a slower start in terms of finding those in these games, but nevertheless we're still in a good spot. And here I'm actually going to choose to pass this turn. You know, I really want at least one more attachment down on this other Charizard before I remove this Jirachi from play. And here I want to just kind of, you know, buy my time and strand this Jirachi since it has this Poison Barb. So I have to see what route she is going to go here. So she has a Cynthia. She actually has Koga in hand, which isn't a card I really mind seeing, to be honest. I don't think that's terrible either. So it really just depends. What is her game plan this turn? Does she want to get the GX attack off with Muk? You know, if so, I think she... Oh, and we were just talking. We forgot to flip for Jirachi's Sleep the past couple turns. So here we are going to flip. So the first flip was after she passed last time. The second flip was after I passed. So Jirachi waking up actually is pretty important here because if she wants to, she does have the option of just attaching to this Jirachi to hard retreat with it to get the energy into the discard pile here. So what she can do is she can retreat this Jirachi, putting it in the discard pile. It looks like she might be contemplating what she wants to do here. Maybe she's thinking, oh, if I Stellar Wish, I might hit a way to get an Ultra Ball or something like that. But at the same time, if she does... Like, the one reason I would maybe want to see a Stellar Wish here is because I really want to see Giratina get set up. If she can find a Stellar Wish to find Ultra Ball, she can get rid of both of these things, start powering up the Giratina with Psychic Recharges, and then just find a DCE maybe off of this Cynthia to start attacking. So if she's able to get an Ultra Ball, I think that is better for her energy. But if she does the play like I kind of described, where she just hard retreats the Jirachi without using Stellar Wish, she's going to guarantee an attack. And here she is going to go for it. So let's see what she can find. And she does find a Treasure. So Ultra Ball would have been nice as well, but Treasure is definitely what she wants here because now she can discard this Psychic Energy and probably just find herself another Malamar here. That seems good. So let's see what she's going to go for. Okay, so I was thinking she might have considered going for like a Let Loose or something like that. I think another play that actually could have been good is like going for Koga and going for Marshadow off of the Treasure and Let Loosing and Koging at the same time. And then you could have done that and then used Muk potentially as well. But here, okay, she actually has enough energy in the discard to just go ahead and power this thing up. I really don't like this. I really want to see a switch into the Mr. Mime. That way she could actually save her Psychic Recharges. Because right now if she Cynthia's and hits a DCE, she basically wasted her recharges when she could have had them down on a different attacker. So I think she definitely should have switched into Mime, held on to her Psychic Recharges, because her ideal situation here would be find DCE, attach that, and Psychic Recharge twice onto the Giratina that's in her discard pile. So now she's kind of in a weird spot though, if she finds the DCE. I mean, nevertheless, she's going to get off an attack, which is definitely good here, but I think maybe she kind of powered up her attackers a little suboptimally this turn. And here you can see she does find the DCE, so this is exactly what I was talking about in this case. So here she does have a Nest Ball. She might be thinking, I want to go for another Muk, start setting that up. Definitely don't mind that, but I think at this point I really just want to see her attack with Giratina. And here it looks like she's debating if she wants to play the Nest Ball. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. She really needed to get down an attachment for turn onto that Giratina. Or maybe I missed something. Maybe she had already manually attached. If that's the case, then I take back everything I just said. But I feel like I don't remember seeing her attach. Then she is going to use this GX attack, but unbeknownst to her, I do have a switch in hand. Actually top deck a Lele as well, which is pretty big here. So what we can do, so right now I have 4 energy on this Charizard. So I'm going to go for a Welder here. Yeah, so what I can do here is I can go for Welder, attach 2 fire from hand, switch into Salandit, attach for turn, and retreat, and we can actually GX this Muk tag team here. Alrighty, so yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to get down an energy on the Salandit. Going to switch and burn the energy. And luckily, Haley did not have the Stadium card in play either. The Dust Diamond card, that would have been pretty bad for this situation. Well, actually, not necessarily, because I would have hard retreated the Salandit, so actually still would have eliminated the poison either way in this case. But here, yeah, now we can use the GX attack on Charizard, and Haley really doesn't have a great answer to this on her following turn here. So if she can find herself actually Lele and find a DCE, that would actually be one way she can deal with this thing. Or even just the Giratina, that will be fine as well. So let's see. So she has plenty of energy in the discard again, so she definitely can power pretty much whoever she wants in this instance. So yeah, you can see her going for the Giratina in this case. Going to use that Distortion Door ability, allows you to get out of the discard pile onto your bench and put 1 damage counter onto 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So here, not really too sure where she puts the damage. Probably 1 on the Charizard maybe, to put it down to 260. That way a Giratina could 2-shot it. So I like that. And then just 1 on the Tapu Lele. I think that's fine as well. So here she's going to get down the Giratina, get down an attachment. We're going to see a Nest Ball. Let's see. She does have Jirachi in her deck. She could go for that, though I'm not sure how much she really needs it at this point. Might want to keep that other bench spot open just in case you get like a Rescue Stretcher or something like that. You can get back on the Alolan Muk. Because I do believe her other one is prized in this matchup. So here we are going to see a Cynthia. So the good news for her is I actually believe I don't have a Welder in hand on my next turn here. So right now, if she is able to knock out this Charizard, and then I don't have a way, like if I whiff something off this Pokegear, then she could be in a decent spot to maybe make a comeback, but at the same time I have Guzma in hand, so I can actually just manually power up Charizard and then just Guzma up something eventually here. But here she does go for the Marshadow. I did have a pretty big hand, so definitely a good call from her to let loose me there and see what I can get off these 4 cards. This is definitely going to be her chance to kind of make a comeback here. Going for the let loose, putting me at a low hand size, and taking a knockout on my only powered up attacker is going to be good. And I do find myself a Pokegear, so that's definitely going to be good here. And a Fiery Flint, so I can use Fiery Flint, thin some of those cards out of my deck first, and then maybe hopefully find myself another Welder. Alright, so she's going to retreat. She's going to have a Poison Barb down on this Giratina as well. It's not really too impactful at this point, just because of, you know, this Giratina gets attacked, it's getting knocked out, and I would just win anyways. But nevertheless, she gets to thin it out of her hand. And she's going to take a knockout with Giratina. She does have to remember, though, Giratina does require you to put 4 damage counters on one of your Pokemon whenever you use its attack. It is 130. So let's see. I don't know if it's too impactful wherever she puts it at this point. I actually might want to see it come down. Yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point because she just loses to a Guzma on Jirachi anyway. So putting on Mr. Mime, I think it's going to be fine here. Or actually, maybe putting it on Marshadow could have been good. That would have allowed her to potentially like Acerola let loose. But here I am going to Fiery Flint. We're going to get, let's see, 3 fire energies out of the deck here. So we really need to find ourselves a Welder here. I think I just have one left in deck too, which is kind of the scary thing about this situation. So here, we're going to go for the Pokegear. Can we find it? We get Guzma, Acerola, and the last card is going to be a Welder for game. So what we can do is we can just Welder, attach the 2 Fire Energies, and then attach 1 more for turn, and use Flare Strike for the knockout, taking the series against this Alolan Muk deck here. So yeah, guys, that is going to be the whole series. I hope you enjoyed a look at these 2 new tag teams that we're going to be getting in Unbroken Bonds. We will have deck profiles for both of these lists posted in the coming days, and links in the description whenever they go live, so definitely be on the lookout for those. But as usual, guys, feel free to like and subscribe, and consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg, or by picking up some merch from our online store, rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.